this. So welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on what's new and it's in Innovation Suite. Joining us today is our Principal Product Manager, Pawan. He will go through a lot of our features and what's coming up. Couple of reminders as well before we get started. While you're reading the legal notice, we do have a Q&A section in Zoom if you haven't used it before. If you have any questions during the demo and presentations, we do have a team of panelists that will be able to answer them. Please use this, and then we will have roughly around 15 minutes or so at the end where we'll take some of those live questions. So I'm now going to hand over to Pawan for his formal introduction and to get us started. Over to you, Pawan.
Hey, thanks, Sam. Hi, everyone. This is Pawan Tilari. I am the PM for Innovation Suite platform. I've been with BMC for almost 3 years now, and overall product management experience of more than 15 years. So great to be part of this session. So today's agenda is we'll cover the key features for the 2334 release, which we have just releasing soon. Then we'll deep dive different features in this release and other releases, which we just released a few months back. And then we'll do some demos. Then we'll also talk about what's coming next, and then we'll do question answers. Okay, so let's start. So let me just walk you through about some Innovation Studio enhanced UI features which we're going to release in 2034. Our latest Innovation Studio enhancement empowers app developers with unprecedented flexibility and efficiency, with improved UI options like record associations, unique record displays, and customizable navigation. The platform is more intuitive than ever. I'll just show you. Enhanced GPT capabilities included a refined chat view and global search integration elevate productivity. We have expanded the localization support for Canadian French, Canadian English, and Thai, while ensuring compatibility with DIN spec, which is 91379 character set, mainly for the European customers, which are the federal customers in Germany, meeting the needs of diverse global users. These upgrades, like we do, make building and managing intelligent apps seamless, robust, and globally adaptable. 2334 release, as we say, the SaaS version will be out soon in the next 2-3 days, and the on-prem in the week's time. So let's move to the deep dive. So the first feature we talk about is using a horizontal scroll bar. So by default, today, grid columns automatically adjust their width to fit within grid's overall width, even when the view's dimension change. A new feature like this introduces a horizontal scroll bar, enhancing usability for wider data sets. We now have a fit mode, which when is enabled by default, dynamically resizing columns to fit the grid's width. If column widths exceed the grid widths, a horizontal scroll bar appears. If column widths are less, empty space fills the right side. This is what's shown in the screen here. Disabling fit mode activates expanded mode, where column retains their configured width and a horizontal scroll bar is displayed when needed. This provides flexibility for viewing and navigating grid content. So this is going to be a very useful feature in terms of having the horizontal scroll bar to view additional columns in the record grid. We will now move to the next feature, which is a simple one, but indeed a useful one. So this talks about displaying unique records in the record grid. The record grid now supports displaying only unique records, simplifying the process of quickly finding desired entries. Application developers can configure the grid to show records with distinct values across specified fields, ensuring streamlined and efficient data exploration. Let's look at the other feature, like the create associations between record definitions by using existing fields. So this is mainly for the business analyst. So if you are a business analyst, you can establish relationships between existing record definitions by creating record associations, enabling seamless access to related data. For instance, Linking department and person record definitions using existing fields helps define which employees belong to specific departments, enhancing data organization and usability. Moving to the next feature, let's look at the UI improvements we are doing to support the HelixGPT based global search. So we have enhanced the tab panel view. So this tab panel view will now have an improved display formatting and styling options. Upgraded tab styling attributes including badge text, badge color icons, customization, and icon positioning. We are introducing the HelixGPT icon for global search in the navigation bar as you see here. And this can only be enabled when HelixGPT is enabled. This provides customization options for global search view accessible for the navigation bar. So now let's move to demo for some of the key features or the flagship features we want to show and which are going to be released. Some of them are going to be released as part of 2034. So like this one. So this talks about, this is one of my favorites. So this talks about having conversational experience for knowledge search, reliable and refined results using GenAI. So in 2033-02 release, as you all would know, we have introduced the HelixGPT Chat View Component, integrating advanced generative AI technologies to deliver dynamic, context-driven responses from various sources such as external web sources, internal knowledge, articles, incidents, and service requests. This feature offers a unified interface for developers to embed a chat experience seamlessly into IS into any of their custom applications. We have enhanced this component in 2033-04 to drive better usability and engagement outcomes. We would now be able to have the ability for our customers to disable user prompts, display sources, references as links, trigger actions when you click the sources. We will also display the message, upward, downward, support, triggering actions driving better engagement potential. Messages, actions like copy, email, custom buttons can be displayed as icons. You can also trigger actions by clicking on them. Application links triggering actions, configuring a welcome message with initial message as well. So before we look into the Helix Chat GPT View component, let me walk through the Helix GPT Manager. Now, Helix GPT Manager is an Innovation Studio application designed to configure and manage skills and prompts for GPT-based functionality. This platform enables seamless management of configurations, ensuring skills are tailored to specific domains or expertise skills. The skills for HelixGPT Chat View component, which we are going to see next as a next feature, are configured here. Some disturbance. So Sam, can you hear my voice clearly?
Yeah, you're okay. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see this demo here. If you see there is an application, you can select the BMC chat. Then you can see the summarization skill. So then you can also have the option of using the provider, which could be the Azure, OpenAI. Then you would have the model, which is the GPT Turbo 4. You can also select the prompts. You can select the summarization prompts. So these prompts are written in a specific format, which generally takes care of the different things. You can also mention the prompts. We also mentioned the global prompt here, which talks about being empathetic and having positive knowledge. So this is about the HelixGPT Manager. We will now move towards demo for HelixGPT Chat View component. Okay, so we have already spoken about the Chat View component and the benefits it would get. So now let's look at this demo where we'll start by by getting into the bundle. So we'll open any bundle in the application. We'll go into the view, and then we'll open the container. In the container, we'll locate the HelixGPT Chat View component in the palette alongside the other components, and we'll drag and drop the HelixGPT Chat component onto the canvas. So upon doing so, you would have all the related options for ChatGPT component will appear there. And these options like skills, context, conversation, limit initial message, presentation, show reset button, all these will be available as part of the HelixGPT Chat View component. We have already released this, but we are just showing the extensions which we have built. You will also be able to see the static messages or the static information like the date, the chat view, where you can actually type the chat, the responses which you want to receive, and other things. Now we'll talk about the skill. The skills are central to GPT functionality. You have already seen that in the GPT manager, these skills are configured, and you will have different options like Azure, BWF, DWP, Gemini, and ITSM. We can align various team requirements according to the skills, and these skills get integrated to the GPT, HelixGPT component. So we will select the skill BWF case conversation. So now we'll also look at the context first. The context field allows you to define the scope of the interaction using the expression editor. So we can enter the context in the JSON format in the codes. This context dictates the behavior and the specificity of the GPT responses. So then we will now move back and then see about the conversation limit. So this field defines the maximum number of interactions allowed in a session. So this is currently configured as 10, but we'll change and we can set it as 1. So which means the user can send in only one message in that session. So you can see that it will display 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10. It depends on the responses received from the HelixGPT component. So we have in the initial message, we have defined a message to send the HelixGPT assistant at the start of the chat session. So this will be a message which you say, so you can say in the expression editor as hi. And when you actually do a preview in the runtime, you would receive a response to that message. You can give any message to that. In terms of the presentation view, so you can show the reset button there, which is currently not displaying here. So once I click on it, you can see a reset button starting displaying to reset the chat in between the runtime. Then you see the show user avatar. This field display the image of the user like me or you, which is currently displaying. If you have the profile picture, it will display whenever the user logs in. And if you don't have, it will not be displayed while you're talking to the chat assistant. Then you also have the hidden option. Then you have components and other options like available on devices, the CSS classes, and so on. So there is another component, actions. So like before message sent, after message received, all these actions can be configured on reference click, on feedback received, which are available for the response. So these are added action dialogues which are present by default and which have already available actions which is present for the view designer. So there we can go to the welcome message. The components of the welcome message are the title, message, and the suggestions. Then in terms of the message actions, you can configure the initial message. So we can look at the initial message first as a demo. So we can give the name to the initial message. And then we'll save it. So let's see what's the UI for it. Let's save it and go to the preview part. So in the runtime, it will show the insights and it has responded to the hi, which we have written in the configuration. And it says, hello, how can I help you today? And then you see the UI. So there is a search bar, and let's try out with a real example and how we can connect with the GPT assistant by sending user message. So we will give a message like, give me details about a dental benefit. Mostly these messages are mainly related to knowledge management, which we have configured, but you can do other use cases also. So it immediately responds that the response is coming, it's work in progress. So you would also see that when we type a response, you cannot send it, it is disabled. And now you start getting the response in the stream fashion. We have enabled the stream API, so you'll get the response in the chunk fashion. You will also see the detailed response along with the sources. And you can see a thumbs up, thumbs down button. And you can configure these buttons, and we can see that as well in this demo. You can also click on the source and you can perform the action. And I've just shown that since we have configured the limit of 1, it is showing 1 out of 1. So now you have reached the conversation limit and you have to start a new topic. You cannot continue on this topic. So this also explains you the conversational limit configuration, which I showed earlier. So moving next. So we'll scroll down and then we'll see the welcome message. So we'll go back to another GPT view where we have configured and trying to show you the welcome message. What the message will be displayed whenever first time the user enters. There is an option like hello, full name. You can configure the full name in the quotes, and it will show the name of the user when he logs in. Then you can display the message in the expression editor and it will show the message. So you have different suggestions there in terms of what is the PTO policy, give me details on maternity leave and so on. And then you have message actions there. So you can have the copy icon, the buttons which you saw below include the thumbs up, thumbs down. You can have different icons which you can select for copy and then different buttons for different actions, right? You can edit the action here. So we are trying to do a copy to clipboard. We can do multiple other actions like close view, launch an URL, and so on. So then it also shows you the different components, the messages you can configure, and then the last action message which can be configured. So we'll cancel this and then we will move to the preview in the runtime. So this is the view of the welcome message. It shows you the username, how are you today? And it gives you option of the different questions you can configure. So we had configured these 3 questions. What is the PTO policy? We'll click on it and you will see the GPT assistant, HelixGPT assistant giving us the response on what is the PTO policy. So again, this will be a stream API based response with chunks. So we'll get the response for this. And we will not be able to send any message because it is still in progress. So you cannot send any question. You cannot ask any question because GPT is still giving the response, or HelixGPT is still giving the response. Now you'll see the sources. So you will see the thumbs up, thumbs down, and you will see the copy clipboard button. When you click that, you can copy it onto the message bar. You can also copy and paste it in the text or anywhere else. Plus, we also configured an action for sending a mail. So now you will see that when we'll click the mail button, it will send a notification to the notification in the navigation bar. And we have configured a process to do that. So notification is sent and yeah, so you will see the notification, the same message has been sent as a notification. So that's about it. And then we also have some other actions which we had configured here. So we can configure the other actions here. So we are trying to show that when you click the source link, you can also open or give an action of opening other view, right? So when we click on the source, we'll again give you the question about, okay, give me the dental benefits. So now it will show you the dental benefit response. And when you click the source, it will, based on the action, it will open a different view which we have configured. Yeah, so in chunks, the messages is displayed. And now you can see the sources. When you click on the source, you will have the action which we triggered showing a different view. Yeah, so you get a view. So that's about it for this feature. So let's move to the next feature, which is the shareable view preset. So this was delivered as part of 23.3. It's a useful feature. So I'll just quickly talk you through. So this has options like filter sharing, where users can share their saved filters, search and add presets, where you can search shared filter presets, then promote relevant presets. You can highlight the most relevant view presets. And this feature in turn improves the usability, enhances user convenience by making it easier to find and view the necessary data when required. So let's look at the demo for this. So this feature, as I said, enables the custom view presets with others, which sharing the custom view presets with others. So it enhances collaboration and personalization in applications. So let's quickly start by navigating to any of the bundles. And we go to the view designer first. We have created a view already here. So we'll drag and drop the preset option, and then we can actually create two different presets. And we'll add two custom presets and enable the sharing option. So this is the enable sharing option, which we have added as part of 23.3 release and as part of this feature. So once you enable this sharing option, these presets can be shared to multiple users. Then we'll drag and drop the record grid onto the canvas. And then we will give the different fields or select the view presets, and then we will say save, and then we'll go to the runtime. Now we looked at configuring view presets. Now we look at sharing the view presets. So now we are in the runtime. We'll open the deployable application here, and then we can see these presets here. So we can see the shared with me and system presets. So there is no presets which are shared. System presets cannot be shared. So once you click there, it will show you the option showing that no view the display message saying that no view presets are shared with you. So now only custom presets can be shared. As I mentioned, system presets cannot be shared. So this is a demo user. You have these two presets, preset 1 and preset 2. So we can apply some modifications like sorting fields on or hiding fields and sorting fields on description, then save this custom preset, and the share option is now available. So you can clicking on it, it opens it, and you can share the preset dialog. So now you see the custom preset 1, then you just share it. So once you click on the share, you will have the add recipients button or add recipients option by selecting users and clicking add. So recipients are listed under the recipients section, and you can even add or remove the recipients as you want, right? So this is the HANA admin recipient whom which we want to share this preset, which we just created. So we will just select, we'll remove the other. So I'm just showing how we can remove the presets or remove the users basically. And then you just save it. And then we will move towards seeing how we can access the preset. So how the HANA admin user can actually view the preset which has been shared by the demo user. So when the shared user, such as HANA admin user, logs in, they can view the shared preset under the shared with me section. And here you see this custom preset one is now available. So you can just say add, and this preset will be available for the HANA admin user. So you can see the message, the selected shared view presets are added successfully. And then you can just see the options custom view preset there. And then this preset comes in here. Yeah. So by following these steps, users can effectively share, access, and apply custom view preset. This is just showing that this same presets was shared by the demo user, and it ensures flexibility and usability. Okay, so after going through that feature, let's move to improving the visibility with the drop down and the stacked action buttons. So previously, Innovation Studio, a button triggers a series of action. For example, launching a process, setting up a value to field, refreshing a grid. On some occasions, it might be very useful to have a stacked or a drop down button. So this feature introduces a drop down action button. In addition to this previously available standard action buttons, drop-down buttons include a main button and a list of child buttons enhancing functionality, and you can perform actions on that. So let's look at this feature. So we'll start with adding a drop-down button to a grid. We'll go to a bundle first. So we will open a bundle, navigate to a view which we have created, and drag the record grid onto we'll select the container first and then drag the record grid onto the canvas. So we'll select the required fields like record definition name and the view name. Yeah, we'll add the action button on the grid. We'll navigate to the component properties of the grid and locate the display property. So this is the enhancement we have done where we are adding the option for drop down, edit drop down actions. So here you can add to the drop down actions. So you have properties like icons, CSS class, security settings, record definition name, field name, and so on. So you have edit actions. So you can specify the conditions, specify when buttons are disabled or hidden. And then you can select these actions the way you want this buttons to function. Then you can select the components within the view. Then you can select the ID here and you can map the ID. So define the functionality such as launching a process, opening a view. So let us now. So now it is talking about it. Yeah, it is giving the launching label. So launch process, and then it is doing edit actions. It will select the launch process action. It will show that alert, and then you can select the components and you can select the display ID. Yeah. So we'll edit drop-down actions. So you'll save this. Go to the runtime view. So in the filter, you can select one field, and now you have this button, which is a drop-down stacked action button. So you have an edit view action and a launch process. So as we have configured, it will launch a message like information selected. And then for edit view, it will enable an edit view as per the action we configured. So we can also do the edit drop-down actions where you can further select the icon, and you can also build an expression editor based on what you want to. So we want to actually look at a disabling kind of a functionality for button. So you can just mention the expression on which triggers the disabling of the button, and you can hide a particular button. So you can just have a expression mentioned for that action. You just save it, and now in the preview mode. So yeah, so if you go to the record selected, you will have this drop down button, and based on the action we selected, you will see the result. So the edit view is now disabled because we disabled this. Okay, so this was about the drop down action. So now we'll move further to simplified data filtering experience using multiple field selections. So today means before this feature was live in 23.3, a nameless object could be consumed in multiple places in IS. For example, in the record grid editor, support group, or in a grid. So the name list normally displays a label, which is one field from the record definition. Sometimes earlier, this label was not very information centric. So the label information was not enough. So for example, there could be multiple support group names, help desk, depending on the company making the selection and so on. So this feature now enables additional fields in the name list. So we can look at it. So you can add more context. So let's look at the demo. So we will be introducing a new feature like the name list designer. So this enhancement aligns with the customer requests for more contextual data capabilities in the name list. So we will add new fields. So you go onto the edit contextual label fields. So you see there are different description, manager name, assignee, and you have search behavior like contains. So contains is something which was available by default. So edit contextual fields. So you can edit contextual fields. So here you can remove the contextual field and just mention. So by default, you can add 4 new elements to it. So here you can add, you can see we are adding the manager name. You can see we'll add manager name. So you can make this field as visible or searchable. So currently this field is visible only. So manager name would be visible only. And the first is description. So we are making description as both visible and searchable. Then we will add the manager name and assignee. So here you see there are 4 levels which you can add. So you can remove few levels now, and then we can add manager name. This is only visible. And remember, we are adding assignee as only visible. It is not searchable. But you can have both visible and searchable depending upon what is the use case. So let's save it, and then let's have an implementation in the view. Let's look at the view designer. Let's see the view which we have created. So we have the record grid, we have the record definition which is selected, and then you go to the edit grid columns. So we have selected the get managers. It was visible, and then we will, yeah, so get managers. If you see, we will save it and do the preview. So now when you go into the filter, you would have extra information which is displayed onto the record grid filter, which is, we'll see the manager name, then we'll see the project name, the group name, which is Atlas, and we'll also see the assignee name. Yeah. So when you search for manager 1, you will have all the information displayed. Then you can also try Atlas. And then when you say Atlas, it will show again all the additional information which we have configured, like manager 1, Atlas, and Brittany, which is the assignee name. So this was for record grid filter. We can also have the similar feature. And so you can also edit data into employee. And in the new, you can say select get managers. And you can actually also, wherever you are searching it, you will see the entire contextual information which we had configured. So when you search Atlas, you can search there as well in the record instance. And you can also get all the contextual information here as well. So this was the feature. Let's go to the next feature, which is define how the search engine will match the search terms. So this is something by default name list searches in the Innovation Studio as contains. So till date, before 23.3.0.0 release, where we have released this feature, we could have only contains as the search option, right? This feature allows you to have additional search categories where you can also have starts with and also exact match. So let's look at the quick demo for this. Okay. So we'll move and have a look at this. So we'll go into the bundle. So this feature is providing ability to choose leading character search in record grid filter and record grid editor. So we will see both the scenarios where we will be able to, along with contains, we'll also be able to say exact match and other scenarios. So we go into the record definition. So you see there are 3 fields displayed, which we have already created, like exact match, field starts with and contains. Then you go and open the name list and you see we have already created the 3 name list, but we'll show what we are changing in terms of the name list. So now you see we have a search behavior which is added, which already had contains, which is the default behavior, and default behavior will remain to ensure we are matching with the previous versions of name list. But we will also have the other 2 options there. So now we go to the name list which we have already created. So let's go to the record definition. We'll look at the records. So we had created record with name list. So here we'll go and map the name list with the corresponding names. So we'll do the mapping. So exact match maps to the exact match record with name list, and so on. So we are now matching with start. So after doing all that mapping, so we'll do for the field contains as well, and we'll map to the contains search. We'll save this. So now let's look at the mapping name list to record definitions. We'll go to the view editor, and then we'll have a container which we will pull in. We'll drag and drop we give the name, the record grid, and we'll drag and drop record grid to the canvas. So here we'll go to the edit grid columns, and here we will select the name list, the different fields. We'll just add the different name lists and save it. So we'll do the preview, go to the runtime. So when you click on the record grid filter, you will now see name list field contains. Now when you try to search a search called foo, search item called foo, it will contain, so whatever string contains foo, it will show. So all those 4 items are shown because it contains foo. Then we'll go to the exact match. So now when we type foo, it will just show one item, which is exact match with foo. And then we have the starts with. So anything starts with foo, we'll have this select and showing them. Yeah. So this is an extension to contains, because we earlier only had contains. Now we are giving more features. So we also try to do this record editor. So we'll name it. We'll do it for record grid. And then we'll also show that the same functionality works. So we saw that in the record grid filter. Now we'll see in the record editor. Yeah, so we will quickly choose the respective fields and the name list, select the 3 name list. We'll save it, and then we will go to the preview mode in the runtime mode. So now we will be looking at name list exact match. And if you type foo, you will have the exact match. So same thing what you saw in the previous example, we are doing this with this component. So then we will do the start with. So everything that comes start with has come in here. And then at the end contains. So anything that contains foo, it will return. So it works for both record grid filter and record editor. Yeah. So that's about it. So that completes our demo. So what coming next? So this is the final slide, which talks about what's coming next. So let's take a quick look at some exciting innovations coming up next for BMC Helix Innovation Suite. So we have the motto of security first. So proactively, we are enhancing security features or working on security features like modern authentication, MS SQL encrypted connections. They are fulfilling BSI requirements mainly for the on-prem customers and also for SaaS, but stale data cleanup and so on. Then we are doing phased implementation, moving from phase 1 of BYOK to HYOK, which is bring your own key and hold your own key, enabling seamless integration with customers' KMS system and ensuring encryption keys are stored securely in the customer's infrastructure, and later enable file-based encryption in phase 3. Then we are looking also to do localized foundation data, which will enhance multi-language support for specifically for regions like Canada, where there are like Canadian French, Canadian English, and languages like that, to display foundation labels in localized strings for IT and LOB users. Then we are doing tech stack upgrades, like upgrading to Angular update to version 18, modernizing mid-tier administration screens, and enabling the on-prem features and on-prem technologies, as we already seen. Then we are, as you see, we are already working on the innovation in terms of HelixGPT. We are expanding the flagship features, specifically the custom app, specifically the view component, and we are also working on the application builder. We are having a dedicated session on HelixGPT innovations coming next month on 11th of November. So we'll cover in detail about that. Plus, we are also working on enhanced application lifecycle management, introducing features such as automated revision history, object modification logs, version comparison, which we are able to do in Dev Studio, but we want to get that in Innovation Suite as well, Innovation Studio as well, for smoother deployments. So these updates are a big leap forward in usability, security, and innovation, setting the stage for more powerful and flexible Helix experience. So that's about it from my side. Samantha?
Okay, let's move to the Q&A. I'm just going to unmute everyone, so just give me a moment to do that. While I'm doing that, Raquel, I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to add. I know we've put a poll out just to get people's feedback on which innovation suite features, and we've got another poll we're going to send out. But was there any other takeaways you wanted to add to Pawan's presentation today?
Well, I would like to hear your feedback from all participants on our polls or in the Q&A, and what you would like to have, what is missing. We love your feedback.
Thanks, Raquel. And I'm just unmuting everyone now. Thank you to those that have already started filling in the poll. This is an opportunity. Now we've got to the Q&A. We've got roughly around 12 or 13 minutes. If anyone does have any questions, I did see a few in the Q&A that have been answered. So please feel free to raise your hand or put your question in the Q&A. Don't be shy. And also, just to note that we will have another session on Innovation Suite, which is going to be the 11th of December, where we're going to be talking about our GPT functionality and features. So that's going to be 11th of December. I will share that link out if you haven't already registered. So that's going to feature as part of our GPT series. And we are also planning a couple of RC Expert sessions early next year. So do also look out for those. One will be on iPass, and then we're planning also one for Innovation Suite. I do see we have a hand raised. If you want to come off mute, Cleaver.
Yes.
Can you hear
Hey,
us?
hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So lots of good stuff. So thank you for this demo. One of the things that really excites me on this, what's coming next, is modernizing the mid-tier administration screens. I cannot say how much this is going to be, a game changer for us who work, we're trying to, sell the platform, and sometimes people want to see what's behind the scenes, and it's a little bit not that modern. So I'm curious to know what is the extent of that modernization? Are we going to really make this that much easier? Is it going to be just a little kind of a little facelift, or are we really going deep into making, for example, configuration screens such as assignment configuration that much simpler to build a rule instead of limiting to 3 or 4 fields that we have in there today? Can you explore that a little bit more for us? Thank you.
Yeah. So, Raquel, you want to take that question in detail?
I'm sorry, I'm typing an answer, so I didn't quite listen. Sorry. What was the question?
So the question was mainly about the modernizing mid-tier administration screen. So I think Souza has really liked that we are doing this. So they wanted to know the extent of what we are doing here.
Yeah, so I was typing that answer exactly. We are working on a design of all the pieces of the mid-tier UI that handles system administration. There's a lot to it, as you probably know. So we are going to start delivering bits and pieces of it, starting with foundation data and data management tool that allows you to upload data into the system. And we will add localization options there as well, because we have that requirement. And other bits and pieces of the administration screens will be added along the calendar year of 2025. And because it's a very big project, it might slip to the next calendar year, 2026.
So Souza,
that answers the question.
yeah, that answers your question.
Yes. So it sounds like it's going to be a big overhaul of all the screens, right? Not just a.
Eventually, yes, the plan is to remove everything from mid-tier over to the IS. We are hoping to somewhat be able to do that along with our HelixGPT features. Yeah. So that is also a plan. Pawan, if you want to mention what we're baking there.
Right. So I wanted to add here that this will be a gradual process, but we are also looking at, we are already analyzing the the AR-based applications and how we can move the AR-based applications to Innovation Suite applications, but it will not be a migration, but it will be a transformation. And we've already building a POC. We have done a hackathon kind of a stuff where we are actually thinking very seriously on that lines, and modernization could be a element of it. And we are not doing it in bits and pieces, but we want to do it as a whole thing. So yeah, it will take time, but yes, we are investing much into it, and we want to use our HelixGPT innovation to leverage for modernizing mid-tier administrations as well.
Thank you so much for the answers. I cannot express how excited I am to hear that these changes are coming, and that all these the admin screens and a number of the mid-tier functions are gonna go now towards Innovation Studio. And of course, I know it's not gonna happen overnight. It's a lot to do, but the fact that there is a plan for that, it really makes me excited. So thank you for that.
And I also invite you for that session next month we have on GPT. You would really see our progress there, what we are doing, and how excited we are to present you where we are in terms of the GPT, HelixGPT innovations. So yeah, please do join there as well. So you see some features repeated there, but we want to add some more content to it.
It's on my calendar. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Looking forward.
Thank you for your question. Okay, we have another question from Sergio. Do you plan to allow embedded IS applications in DWP Studio pages? Sergio, if you want to come off mute and speak live as well. I don't know if you can hear us. Maybe Laurent, I can see you're answering that question if you want to also talk it out live.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you're clear.
Okay, so it's already possible. It's already possible to embed Innovation Studio views inside DWP. So I guess we'll post links to the documentation, but there is in DWP administration, there is a configuration to set up, to select a view from Innovation Studio so it can be accessed in DWP.
Thank you. Hopefully that's answered your question, Sergio. If you want to reply back, if you don't want to come off mute. Okay. That's all our questions we've got at the moment. So does anybody else have any questions? There is also another poll out there. We're just asking you which AI functionality you would like to see. Really important information for us because we take that back to our product UX team. We also do have design partnership that we often ask if anyone's interested in joining. I will share out the details for that post-event, and we'll aim to send you out the recording, the slides and all the content that's been shared today in the next 48 hours. If we don't have any further questions, we'll close a few minutes early. Just give everyone an opportunity to see again. I think we have another question. It's for yourself actually, Raquel. Is there an update on the My Support Group filter from Sabine? Hello, Sabine.
I have to remember which one is it exactly.
I think this is the entity data My Support Group one you're trying to ask the question about.
Yes, hello. I just wanted to see, to ask whether there's any update on this.
Oh, that's with the keyword, right? Adding the keyword.
Yeah, with the keyword, yeah.
Right.
So
I think it's in 25.3 right now, Sabine, as far as
Yes.
I understand.
Yeah.
25.3, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
good.
we have plenty of things coming in. Unfortunately, 25.1 is a small release due to holidays. Like it's coming in January, right? So very soon. And the next one would be for on-prem For SaaS would be April, May, I think, and for on-prem in June. So it takes some time, and we'll try and see if we can make as soon as we can. But we have plenty of things piled up.
Yeah, sure.
You can see the list in front of you, right? We want to be able to bring all these new enhancements. So
yeah, nevertheless, this is an important one.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.